So when I heard that the theme was out of place, I was really excited because if there's ever a Lifetime original movie about my life, it'll be entitled Out of Place, the Jake Bowling story. And the reason is because I'm really kind of always out of place. I'm a little bit too gay for the Christians. I'm a little bit too Christian for the gays. And I come from West Virginia, which is a little bit too north for the Southerners, a little bit too Southerners. And if you ever watch the Weather Channel, like, you can never see West Virginia on the map. It's not in the Northeast, it's not in the South, so I have to wait for the local on the 8s to even know if it's going to rain or not. And it's really infuriating. But anyway, so I'm going to tell you a story about a time when I kind of intentionally did something out of place. So where do 3 gay friends go on a trip for a long weekend? The Creation Museum in Kentucky, of course. So we decided to go to the Creation Museum for several reasons. We're intellectually curious. A few of us come from evangelical backgrounds. We thought it would be kind of a cool anthropological study of like a familiar yet foreign, group of people. So we decided to go to Kentucky. It takes us about 10 hours to get there. And when we get there, as we approach the building, it's really magnificent. I mean, it looks like a legit museum. It looks like the Smithsonian. And I've never been to the Smithsonian, but I'm just thinking that's probably what it would have. So we get there, it's like beautiful, there's a brontosaurus like outside, we're like, wow, there's a brontosaurus, it's my favorite dinosaur. So we go inside and it's really kind of overwhelming, and a few things happen. So one notable thing that happened was that I got cruised at the Creation Museum by like a dad, with his family, which is really sad actually, but it was kind of bizarre. And so that was like one of my first impressions, and we kind of like tested him, like I was like, watch this, I'm gonna walk by again and watch his reaction. And we were kind of like just anthropological experiment, objectively observing this group of people. The second thing that happened was we went into this presentation, and they were talking about how our children are learning about evolution, and this is like the root of all social problems. And the image they used was a conveyor belt. And at one end of the conveyor belt were like these happy Christian children. And then they like go into the school, and when they pop out the other side, they're monkeys. And it said our children are being evolutionized, which is a verb I had never heard of until that point. So I was really excited about that. When we were on our way, so we went through the different exhibits, and what these people believe is in the literal 7-day or 6-day creation that's in the book of Genesis. So they're young earth creationists. So they believe that the dinosaurs were kicking it with Adam and Eve all along. But they did not eat meat, so it wasn't a problem. The dinosaurs, like T-Rex was snacking on some berries. And then after the fall of man, that's when they started eating meat, and everything kind of got messed up from there on out. But that's their assertion that everybody was kind of coexisting and everything was happy and harmonious. Another interesting thing that happened is when we left the crazy evolutionized children presentation, there was a woman who was kind of like creeping around us, like trying to get in on our conversation because we were talking shit about what had just happened. And she looked, we were just like, oh man, like, we were kind of trying to box her out with our bodies since we weren't trying to get preached at. Like, we've been through that, we're over that, like, it's all good. So we continued to speak, kind of boxed her out, and she's like, yeah, so what did you guys think? What did you think? What do you think? And finally we're like, it was very interesting. And she was like, actually, I thought it was a farce. And we were like, what? And she said, I work for the Smithsonian. I'm a professor at George Mason, or one of the things in DC, and she was like, this is ridiculous, I'm doing an academic study on these folks, and I said, the most spiritual thing to happen here with me today is that we all found each other, like in this museum, like 4 people who are skeptics found each other. But it made me think a lot about being out of place, and if being out of place in that place means that I'm a free thinker, means that I'm curious, means that I analyze things critically, means that I don't think that animals ate berries at the same time that humans did, then I think I'm okay with being out of place, and maybe we have a lot more evolving to do after all.